I am Jack. My brother's just behind the camera just there, Patrick. We're the Pierce brothers interviewing Graham Nash for Rolling Stone. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Jack. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. How have you been? You've only just gotten here.
Yeah, it's been an interesting promo tour. We started in Amsterdam and then went to Stockholm and then Paris and then London and Hamburg and then Berlin, Milan, Rome, back to Milan, Singapore here.
So not that far. It's,
no.
It's
just a quick stroll.
Yes. So first up, my brother and I are recording our album actually at the moment. So we've just come straight from the studio, and this is our first
How's it going?
album. It's going good. You know how some days you beat the studio and the other days the studio beats you? Yeah. Today went pretty well. We've had some rough days, and for being our first full album,
it's
been pretty scary.
How are you doing? All in the same room?
Yeah, it's quite a small studio, so pretty much we're layering stuff because there's only two of us and we play a kind of difficult thing. It's hard to do stuff live, but we've been playing around with all sorts of stuff. Good. But this is what I wanted to ask you about. So when you have such a long career, and on this record, when you've been recording it, what's the process that you go through in your songwriting process?
Pretty much the same as you.
Okay.
Yeah. My friend Shane Fontaine, who was the second guitar player in the Crosby, Stills and Nash band. Sorry?
Was he the producer on this as well?
He produced it, and he put the band together too, and he wrote all the songs with me.
Really?
So he was really invested in this. We wrote 20 songs in a month, recorded them in 8 days, same as you guys, all in a room, all together, doing the vocals, everything live.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's one track on the record called Myself at Last, which I think is the second track. Mm-hmm. That was the first attempt at the first song we ever did.
Really? Don't you love it when you just get it right on the first go?
Gotta love that. As you know from experience, that the sessions are going to go great when that happens. Yeah,
absolutely. And you can spend days in the studio where you just go on and on and on, but then you might come in the next day and the first take, you're just like, great, we got it, let's
Fantastic.
move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
But it's very important to know when to let go. Because you can polish it until it's a turd.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely.
But when you feel it, let it go. If you made it, fantastic.
Yeah,
it might be slightly imperfect, as you well know.
Well, everything's slightly imperfect, and it's the imperfections that are sometimes the greatest part.
I agree.
For such a long career, do you still find inspiration from new artists? Like, for example, you're going to Bluesfest and there's a lot of new artists playing there. Do you see, with your contemporaries that are still recording the rest of it, do you still take inspiration from them, or do you take inspiration from new and upcoming acts from around the world?
I don't listen to new music.
No?
No. This last 10 years, I've been completely immersed in the music of me and David and Stephen and Neil. I did Crosby's box set of 3 CDs. I did Stephen's box set of 4 CDs. I did my box set of 3. I did the CSNY 1974 Stadium Tour, 4 CDs, greatest hits, demo records. I've been completely immersed in our music. And I haven't listened to any new music. However, you got to understand, the cream rises to the top, and if anything is brilliant out there, it will find me. But I don't go and seek new people. I don't have time. I'm too busy creating.
Yeah, of course. And so is that why it's taken, I think it was 14 years since you've put out something for yourself?
Solo. Yeah,
solo.
Yeah.
And so is that why? Because you've just been working on so many other...
Oh, I've been working on so many albums. Like I said, 16 CDs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of music to me.
It's a lot of music, absolutely.
Right.
Golden Days, in particular, becomes kind of Broken Days, right? So I was listening to that, and it's about you back in the day with the band travelling through, playing across the land, and talking about how music, you wanted it to change people, you wanted it to make a difference, but then it seems that you've kind of become a little bit maybe cynical, and maybe looking back on it is...
Cynical? I don't think I'm cynical. I don't think so. I'm too positive to be cynical. Maybe I should be more cynical, but I don't know. Golden Days, the first verse about the Hollies, my first band.
That's right.
The second verse is the broken days of what was happening in England after World War II and how difficult life was. And the third verse is about golden days, because I think these are golden days myself. I mean, I know it's fucked. I know there's a million problems. I know climate change. I know terrorism. I know Donald Trump. I know
Donald Trump.
However, these are golden days, because don't forget, there's only bad news that sells. You never see good news on your television. For some reason, bad news sells. But there are millions of good things that happen throughout the world that you don't even hear about.
Would you say that Encore kind of like can encapsulate this album as your career. So what you've done is it's been 14 years. They've called for more, and so you're doing one. Could you make that comparison, or is that a bit of a stretch?
No, I think it's a very smart comparison. And with Encore, what I'm saying is this. It's very simple. Who are you when the last show's over? Who are you when the last song's done and the lights are fading? Who are you? Are you a decent person, or are you a shithead? Who are you? That's what Encore's about.
That's really fucking cool, man.
I'm telling you the truth.
That's a good way to look at it, you know, because people can obviously get caught up in all the music and all that sort of bullshit. And then
there's a lot of stuff out there to distract you. It's really just bread and circuses, what the Romans invented. Give the mass of the people something to eat and distract them while they rob you. Right now we're being distracted by the size of Kim Kardashian's ass, you know? Yeah. That's one of the things I love about Bernie Sanders. He's trying to bring young people into the process because he's making them realize that, yeah, you can be texting and you can be doing and you can be talking about Justin Bieber and all that stuff, but they're robbing you while you're distracted. And we have to know that.
Well, for young bands coming up now, would you give any advice? Me and my brother, for example, we're playing Bluesfest for the first time this year. We've started to tour a bit. We're playing in the Netherlands, actually. We're playing at the Paradiso in the Netherlands.
You're going to love the Paradiso. Are you going to Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to love the Paradiso.
Well, I've been there for a show, but I've never played a show there, and I never thought that we'd be headlining.
You know that they love music, right?
Oh yeah, the Dutch are.
That's right.
The Dutch are like your kooky auntie. They're all so strange and wonderful.
I know. But congratulations on just starting. I tell you, you've got more balls than me. I wouldn't start in this business now.
No, really?
No.
Why's that?
When I was growing up,
going to scare the shit out of me.
No. When I was growing up, there were only 20 bands, and now there's 20 bands on every block,
of course,
throughout the world.
Yeah,
you know, to fight for space is incredible now. I wouldn't want to start in music today, but if I had any advice, you're already doing it. You're following your passion. You know that you've got something to offer. You know what your heart says is good, and you know what your heart says is bad, and you have a choice. Make the right choice, but keep that passion, because that's the thing that will keep you going, and you'll be 74 one day talking to another band.
And keep that passion even on the days that the studio beats you.
Yeah,
because that's when I've found it's hardest to keep it out. You just sit there going, what am I doing?
It's hard to stay positive, especially when you're fighting to get records made, and you know, all of a sudden you had a brilliant lead vocal and there was a squeak in the middle of it because something in the studio wasn't plugged in. I understand all that. Keep your passion, man. When was the last time that you toured? Rather than making music and being in the album, when was the last time you did a tour? Oh, it was a long time ago. It was about 2 months. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. So you really haven't stopped. It's been on a tour or touring. And during those 14 years, you know, CSN toured every year. Yeah. Well, I think I've asked just about every question I can think of. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you so much, Graham. Thanks for having us.